Heyo friendos, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going through 50 of my very personal problems that I've been working through intensely with a psychiatrist to fix. No? What are we doing today? Sephora? So 50 of my favorite items from Sephora. These are all going to be makeup items. So you guys can get ready for that VIB or Rouge sale, whatever you are. If you are getting ready for the Sephora sale that's just in a few days, well then friendos, I have you covered. Y'all, just stay tuned. So y'all, I am going to rapid fire these, and my sister has but one job today, and it's to make sure that this eyelash stays on. This one's already coming off. Oh my God. Okay, this one too. This one too. Okay, so first item on the list. Again, this is gonna be quick. I'm not gonna linger on any of these things. If you have questions about any of the items that I bring up, let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer any question you have. For the most part, we'll be going by brand. So the first thing is the Makeup by Mario Soft Pop Blush. This was a gift from my sister, and I keep repurchasing more and more of the shades. They're just super, super nice. They're very skin-like. They are not a radiant blush by any stretch of the imagination. They're just very skin-like and pretty, infinitely buildable. Next up from Makeup by Mario is his Cozy Lip Cream. You guys know that is my favorite liquid lipstick. Them and MAC Powder Kiss, they kind of go neck and neck for me. I really like it. It's one of those that just wears really pretty throughout the day. Super blurring. You won't see a line on your lips. Top quality and a great price. Up next, we have the Ultra Suede Sculpting Lip Pencil. Now this lip pencil is divine. It creates a good barrier. You're not going to get any bleeding with it, and it just goes on like a dream. You can even use it as a full lip color on the lips. Still very blurring, just like the lip cream. Then the Ultra Suede lipstick, also from Makeup by Mario, is just fantastic. It's still very blurring. It's not going to give you the longevity that the Cozy Lip Cream gives, but it does wear off really pretty. You can be eating, drinking, or whatever, you'll see the lipstick on your cup, but it won't show on your lips that you are missing any spots. You're not going to get streaking. And again, it's one of those products that makes your lips look like you are 12 years old. So yeah, definitely a good one. Next, we are moving on to Dior. I just want to throw this out there real quick. I should have said this before, but if there's an item that you've heard me talk about or you've heard me rave about and it's not on the list, chances are it's no longer on Sephora. I was shocked at how many of my favorites are no longer on Sephora. So I don't know what's going on there. This was going to be 100 of my favorite things, but I reduced the list down to 50. So from Dior, we have the Forever Skin Glow Foundation. If you like a thin foundation that fills in pores, doesn't enunciate any flaw on your face, any texture, this is the one. It is so mildly radiant that I don't really feel comfortable with the name Skin Glow. So if you are planning to get it because you want a dewy looking foundation, I feel like, again, Skin Glow is definitely a misnomer there. But I love it. I think that it's very skin-like and it's just perfecting. It's a solid foundation. Now it's time for the Rare Beauty party. So from Rare Beauty, I love their bronzer stick. It's called the Warm Wishes Effortless Bronzer Stick. I have repurchased mine twice. I went through it twice. I've got to buy it again at the sale. But it's so good. It's so good for contouring. If you are like me and you have oily skin, this one does have a decent dry down. If you are a dry skin girl, I don't think that this is going to bother you in the least. It's just, you know, us oily skin girls, we have a hard time finding bronzers that work for us, that don't make us look like an oil slick. This is one of them. I also really like the tones of these. They're very natural looking, not too warm, not too cool, just the perfect neutral tone. Then we have the Rare Beauty Always an Optimist Soft Radiance Setting Powder. I don't care what your skin type is, this powder is gorgeous. It gives you a soft glow. It's not sparkly. It's not going to enunciate any texture on your face, any any wrinkles, any pores, any of that. It's just going to be very blurring, especially in pictures. My pictures with this powder are always very flattering, and also it's an excellent price. Next, we have the Soft Pinch Liquid Blush. My sister and I have been a fan of those for a long time. These do dry down. I really like that. Sometimes cream products don't, but this actually will dry down. It will set itself. You don't have to set it. It will last all day, and you don't have to worry. Like if you're someone who's constantly doing this, you don't have to worry about it coming off and leaving streaky spots on your face. That just doesn't happen. So again, this is my favorite liquid blush formulation. Lastly, from Rare Beauty, we have, very long name, the Perfect Stroke Universal Volumizing Mascara. It's one of those mascaras that really does a good job of curling and just being a darn good mascara. It's opaque. Like I said, it curls, it lifts, it gives you volume and a little bit of length. It really is one of the best mascaras that you can buy from Sephora, and again, at that very reasonable price point. Next, we're moving on to Armani. So this foundation actually is a little bit on the glowy side. This is the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. This is another one where it is a little bit more luminous. I don't really feel like it enhances my pores and brings any attention to them, but it's very soft and feminine. It's medium coverage and probably just one of the most beautiful foundations to ever exist. And we have the Armani Lip Maestro Liquid Lipstick. This one is a stay all day type of lipstick. It's not as blurring as Makeup by Mario, but it still is blurring. If you're going somewhere and you want that color to just last all day, that's a good one to pick. I do wish that they had a better shade range, but I'm not hating. Then we have the Armani Neo Nude Foundation. Now this one is kind of balmy, it's moisturizing, it is a light to medium coverage, leaning light. I would say it's leaning light coverage. But if you're someone who's into the balms, if you're someone who's into the nourishment, sometimes during the winter months I actually need that. Despite being oily overall, sometimes my skin does get dried out, and that's one of them that I will reach for if I feel like I need that hydration in my foundation. Now for the Hourglass Power Hour. So I have arrived at a decision on what is my favorite primer of all time. It is their Veil Mineral Primer. I just feel like that one is the most blurring. It has SPF in it. It's just, I feel like I look like an angel when I have it on and I'm taking pictures or recording. It is noticeably different in the camera. I feel like it takes a good 3 to 5 years off my face whenever I have that down under my foundation. It's one of those halo glow. It's not blingy. It's not going to make your face look dewy or shiny. It kind of just puts a filter on your face. Then we have the Vanish Airbrush Primer. That one's probably a second favorite. I just feel like that one's a little bit better at absorbing the oil, and it's like a lighter version of the Mineral Veil. So not quite as blurring, but still blurring. And if you are worried about oil showing up on your face, this one does a really good job of absorbing the oil so that it doesn't make its way out into your makeup. And again, that is the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Primer. Okay, no surprise, the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush is one of my favorite blushes. It's radiant, it's skin-like, it doesn't enhance any texture on the face, it doesn't make my pores look worse, especially in pictures. In pictures, it's very blurring. It really does a good job of masking those small imperfections, or in my case, huge imperfections. Then the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer. That is my favorite powder bronzer. It is luminous, but like almost all Hourglass products, it does not enunciate the pores. It's a miracle product, really. Their bronzers come in a variety of different shades, so if you want something that you can use as more of a contour, they have that shade. If you have something that you want just to bronze up and bring some warmth to the face, they have that shade too. And if you're smart and you like the blush and you like the bronzer, go ahead and just invest in a palette, honestly, because the blush and the bronzer are $40. You'll get an entire palette, at least six different shades, whether it be setting powder, bronzer, blush. You'll get 6 of them in one component for $85. And for me, that is worth it. Lastly, from Hourglass, their Voyage Waterproof Gel Liner. They have another version of eyeliner, Avoid that one like the plague. It's not good. You're looking for the Voyage Gel Eyeliner. That one is really nice for putting outside the waterline into the lash line and blending it out. It's perfection. It doesn't stay mobile for too long. It does dry down, but it gives you enough time to do what you need to do and work with the product before it sets itself. I really do enjoy that product. Next up from Huda Beauty, we have the Faux Filter Foundation Stick. My favorite foundation stick of all time, and I'm very picky. There's only 2 in the world that I would consider to be favorites. This is one of them. It gives your face this beautiful pearlescent glow. Again, without enunciating pores. For me, that is my struggle. That's why I keep bringing up the pores, the pores, the pores. It's because my pores are so large, I could literally serve side dishes during Thanksgiving in them. And then as far as palettes are concerned, the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz Eyeshadow Palette, that one is just exceptional quality. I think that was her most high quality eyeshadow palette of all time. I don't know what they've done with Mercury retrograde. It's no longer on the website. That one wasn't as high quality as Rose Quartz, but I just really love the color story of it. A lot of my favorite items from Huda Beauty are missing from the Sephora site. So that's why this Huda section was so short. Then a classic, we're moving on to Anastasia Beverly Hills, probably one of their most iconic products of all time. It is their Dip Brow, and it came out years ago and I'm still using it. I'll forget about it for a while and then I'll pick it back up and I'll realize, you know what, this is a forever love. I'm never not going to want to have this in my collection. The product is so easy to work with. It's a really good price point. Just nothing negative to say about it. Then from Anastasia Beverly Hills, we have the Rose Metals palette. You guys have seen me rave about it. I don't want to talk your ears off about it. If you want to see my full review as well as looks, I have 2 separate videos that you can turn to. Now moving on to Makeup Forever. I love their Forever Artist Color Pencil. I use mine purely as lip liner and lip color. However, you can use it in the brows. You can use it as eyeliner. However you see fit. It's one of those makeup artist holy grail items. If you want a dry formula of lip liner in your collection, you need to add this one. It lasts so long. I'm probably going to stock up on more of these during the sale. Next up from Makeup Forever again, the Pro Sculpting Face Palette. This will give you one of those Hollywood no makeup looks. It's really easy to diffuse any of the products and create that gorgeous Hollywood, I'm not wearing anything, I just woke up like this, type looks. One of those type of things. One of those styles. Next up, the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Setting Powder. Again, very blurring. I can't say that it's too matte. I can't say that it's too glowing. It's just perfect. It's skin-like. It works well over most foundations that I personally use in my everyday wear. I have about 10 foundations that I rotate through, and on every single one, that powder looks great and does a great job of setting my makeup. Next up, the Makeup Forever Pore Minimizer Primer. I've talked about this a lot, so I don't want to go into too much detail. Just a really good pore filling primer, and it doesn't alter any of the foundation that you put on top of it. It's not going to make it look more glowy. It's not going to make it look more matte. It's going to keep your foundation looking the finish that the foundation naturally came in. And now for Merit. I love their Shade Slick Lip Tint. It gives your lips very good hydration and then a flattering tint of lip color. It almost looks like a gloss, but it is not sticky at all, and the longevity on it is really nice too. Then from Merit, their #1 tapered blending brush. This is my favorite foundation brush of all time. Let me tell you, it's small. I have kind of a smaller face, and I feel like that one just really helps me do what I want to do with my face. So let's say I don't want to blend out my cream bronzer into my foundation too much. I can just do tiny little circular motions and everything just gets blended out perfectly. It's also really good for stippling. It's good for filling in pores. It's a perfect product. Then from Buxom. It's sad, I always forget to talk about Buxom on my channel despite having a ton of their products in my collection. So their favorite item for me is probably their full-on lip cream. I don't wear it as much anymore because now I have my lips filled, but I do feel like out of all the plumping lip products in the world that I have tried, that's the one that gives me the most noticeable difference. I even have a video up of it on TikTok doing a full demo and comparing it to other lip plumping products. And then we have their Primer Infused Blush. This one brings the pigment. If you like a good pigmented brush that blurs out your pores, that's a good one. It is very comparable to Hourglass and it's essentially half the price. So if you haven't checked those out, friendos, you're about to have your chance. Next up, I haven't talked about this in my latest haul video, but I'm going to. This is the Clinique Even Better Clinical Foundation. I heard Nakia Joy talk about this on her channel. You know, she does a lot of stuff geared towards people with pores, people with oily skin. She loved this foundation. I found this at TJ Maxx for cheap. So cheap. I want to say it was like $12. Such a steal. I've been loving this. Hadn't had a chance to talk to you guys about it yet, but yes, definitely a favorite. Then from IT Cosmetics, the Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer. That is the best concealer I know of for disguising the bags. It just has this phenomenal concomitant that just holds back the bags. If you've been crying, if you've had allergies, you haven't had enough sleep, that's your go-to. Don't let the cheap, tacky packaging fool you. It's an excellent, excellent product. Then from Milk Makeup, we have the Hydra Grip Primer. This one is good, especially coming into these colder months where we're blasting the heat, then going out into the cold. If you have peeling skin, this one really does a good job of coating whatever's peeling and making it just look flush with the rest of your face. You could wear it alone if you don't want to wear foundation. It's gonna hide the peeling. That's the thing. It hides the peeling and it does make your foundation last longer. And don't worry, if you're worried about the green tint, you do not see the green tint once it's on your face. Whew, getting to some fun territory here, guys. Now we're going to cover my favorites from Natasha Denona, available at Sephora. There would have been more, but a lot are missing from the site. So all-time favorite Natasha Denona palette is, of course, the Sunset palette. As of right now, I believe it is on sale for half price, and I'm like, so yeah, if you want to own one of my favorites, now might be your perfect time to buy. Next up, we have the Natasha Denona Mini Gold Palette. Now this was a present from one of my sisters that I got last year. I'm loving it still to this day. I think it's a perfect color story for this time of year. You've got those gorgeous olive tones. You've got the gold. It's just a phenomenal little palette that you can take with you anywhere. Next up is one of Natasha Denona's latest releases. It's the My Dream palette. And while this color story isn't amazing in my opinion, I can't put into words why I want to reach for that palette all the time. I haven't figured it out. I just haven't figured it out, but I feel like I constantly want to use that palette. The mattes in it are so good. I think that they're some of her best mattes. I love the way they blend. I love the pigmentation of the palette. If you like that color story, this might be one to invest in. And now the Natasha Denona Glam Palette. Now this is perfect for someone who likes the cooler tones. You like the silver, you like the gunmetals. If you are looking for excellent shimmers, excellent mattes, the whole Natasha Denona experience, and you like that color story and that vibe, well then that one might be the palette for you. It's also a pretty safe Christmas bet because, I mean, honestly, who doesn't like silvers? So yeah, fabulous quality, safe palette. Next up, we have the Natasha Denona Mini Bronze. Now this one has the whole autumn vibe to it. It's got that good orange. It's got a nice burnished red. You're really going to enjoy this palette if you like that color story. If you want something that really gets you in the fall spirit, you want something little and compact, it's a great one to add to your collection. Next up is the Natasha Denona Mini Biba. I gifted this one to my sister and not a day goes by that I haven't regretted parting with that beautiful palette. I'm just kidding. I can go in her room and steal it anytime I want. But yeah, if you like that color story, this is Natasha Denona at her best. This is Natasha Denona in her glory day. You don't have to work to get any of these shades to blend out. It does it itself. You're going to get pigmentation. You're going to get blendability. You're just going to have a beautiful palette in a small, compact case. Now moving on, you're about to see how much I actually love products from Pat McGrath Labs. And right now there's a sale going on where I think you can get 30% off most everything on her site. What I will say, and without dragging this up again, I've had bad experience after bad experience from buying from her site. I personally would rather get the 20% off from Sephora and buy from Sephora than I would get 30% off buying from Pat McGrath Labs. That's just how I feel about buying from their site. So going into the products, we have the first item, which will be the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction. Now this is her latest real Mothership palette in the really nice black packaging. It's gorgeous. It's not the most adventurous of color stories, but boy, does this palette bring it. It has probably the best mattes she has ever featured in any of her palettes. The Blitz Astral shades are amazing. They bring that molten metal sparkly look that you just can't find anywhere else, in my opinion. I have not had that experience with any other formulation. It's gorgeous. If you like that color story, I'd bet that you would like this. Next up, for those of you who want a taste of the brand, but you don't want to drop the big bucks on Pat McGrath Labs just yet, my recommendation would be the Mini Midnight Voyage. Now this palette is limited edition, but it's still up on the Sephora site as of today. Now it doesn't contain the Blitz Astral shades. However, the sparkly shades in there are still extremely nice. They're practically a Blitz Astral. So if you're a buyer of Jeffree Star Cosmetics and you're familiar with those new sparkly formulations that we see in Cremated, that we see in Pricked, you know which ones I'm talking about. The ones that you can't see much difference from Blitz Astral. If you like that formulation, you'll definitely like this palette. You'll definitely like the shimmers in this palette because they are practically identical in performance. Next up, we have the Pat McGrath Labs Sublime Perfection Concealer. This is my favorite concealer for brightening under the eyes, for covering up the dark circles. It's just a miracle product. You do need to set it, otherwise it will crease, or at least it will on me, because I am definitely prone to creasing, but definitely for brightening the skin, for bringing out that luminosity back to your face. The Sublime Perfection is perfection. Okay, back on it with the Mothership palettes. The number one, the original Subliminal palette. I think that one's always going to be in my recommendations for Pat McGrath Labs. It still to this day is the palette that I will wear out into public and get the most amount of compliments on. That beautiful golden shade is just... it's gorgeous. There's a very good chance that I put it on my sister when she gets married. It's one of those shades, and I love every shade in the palette. And I'm not normally a cool tone girl. I usually like warm tones over cool tones, but that is my favorite from the brand. Also, there's a duochrome shade in there that's just, it is fire, you guys. So yeah, that's absolutely a recommendation. And then we have the Pat McGrath Labs PermaGel Eyeliner. Now that is my favorite eyeliner for going into the waterline, for going into the tight line. I think it does a really good job of staying on, of bringing the opacity, bringing the longevity, and it's very easy to use. You're not having to do coat after coat after coat to get it on there. Also, it doesn't irritate my eyes. A lot of them that I put into the waterline irritate my eyes. This one doesn't. It just feels comfortable. It's, again, my favorite eyeliner for the waterline. Okay, the next item is the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Volume 6 Midnight Sun. Now this one is on sale currently, I believe still, for $75 on Pat McGrath Labs website. So this one might be one that might be worth the risk. I'm not really sure. You guys will have to determine that for yourselves. But regardless, it's still one of my favorites, especially for this time of year. It's got that nice sort of brick red. It's got that beautiful Blitz Astral orange. It's got a gorgeous purple, the light gold. It's just one of those that I find myself reaching for a lot this time of year. It has the most beautiful olivey gold shade in there. I get a lot of compliments on it as well. I'm surprised it's not more popular than what it is. But yeah, definitely a favorite of mine, and moving on. Then my last recommendation from Pat McGrath Labs that you can get on Sephora is going to be the Sublime Perfection Setting Powder. This one is just really good at blurring. It's a good one for if you're taking photos or you're going to be out in the sun. It's one of those powders that when the sun hits, it diffuses that light and your face just looks like a little angel. Again, there's a very high likelihood that I will be using this one when my sister gets married. Also, just want to say, it's not like one of those ghostly sheens. It's not like Flashback Mary or anything. It's just enough. just enough. Also really like it for setting under the eyes, but a lot of times I'll just use it all over my face. Okay, now we have some one-hit wonders. So from IT Cosmetics, we have the CC Plus Matte Oil Free. Now I think this is a foundation, but they don't like to call it a foundation. So let me tell you about this guy. If you like the YSL All Hours foundation, because I know some of us oily girls, we want one good true matte foundation in our collection. So for me, is your YSL All Hours in a much cheaper component. You're gonna get the same performance. This one is slightly, and I mean maybe 5% more skin-like. It's not quite as matte as the YSL, but I honestly think this one looks nicer. Also, if you don't like the smell of the YSL, I think it kind of smells like paint thinner. Even though I like how the product performs, I don't really like that smell. This one doesn't come with the smell. And also, the YSL one, I don't know, it kind of irritates my skin a little bit. Like I feel like at the end of the day, I just want to like scratch my face. With this foundation, I don't feel the same way. Now the packaging, kind of cheapy looking. It's not nearly as nice as the YSL packaging. It might be worth it to get the IT Cosmetics formula over YSL if you're trying to save a buck or two. Then we have the Valentino Lipstick. Now I've told you guys, this is by far the most beautiful satin formula in the world, in my opinion. What I hate is their packaging. But for Christmas, you guys, they have come out with new packaging and you can buy your lipstick in a component that is black. It's not that ugly pink red thing that actually hurts my eyes, and it's refillable. So after I'm done with whatever lipstick I'm using, I can refill it with another shade and I never have to see that pink, nasty Mattel looking thing ever again. So I will be capitalizing on that when the sale hits. Then from Lancome, we have the Idole Lash Lifting and Volumizing Mascara. Now this one does what it says it's gonna do. It's gonna lift your lashes, it's gonna give them some volume, it's not gonna flake, it's gonna last all day, and it's a really good black. I wish that it was more of a matte black. It's a little bit more of a shiny black, but it's still very pretty, and it's one of those wear all day type products, and it does keep your lashes lifted all day, which is something that I definitely struggle with. My eyelashes want to go down all the time. This one really does give them that lift and helps my lashes because my eyes are downturned. It definitely makes my eyes generally look more lifted and more snatched. And lastly, this one I feel like has gone completely forgotten. I have it in my collection. I don't use it on camera a whole lot, but it's the Tatcha the Silk Canvas Primer. Now I'm talking about the original, not the new one that's a liquid, the original one in a component. That one, I like it so much better than the liquid one. I think the one that's a balm does a better job of filling in pores, more so than the liquid one. It's one of those primers that it delivers moisture to the skin without ever making my makeup look oily, and it goes great with every foundation. I also feel like my skin just looks better after I wash off my makeup if I've been consistently using that primer. And friendos, we have reached the end. Now I want to hear from you all. Did I miss anything? Was there something that I should absolutely add to the list that you didn't hear today? What do you think of these recommendations? Have you tried any of them? Also, would you guys like one on perfumes or one on skincare? I feel like I can be a helpful resource on either of those two items. I don't feel like I would be a valuable resource when it comes to the hair care products from Sephora. I just haven't tried enough from there. And also my hair is breaking, so what the do I know? So for those of you who suffered through all the way to the end, let me tell you, I really appreciate you guys not hurting my ego and clicking off the video. I wish you all a phenomenal rest of your day. I do hope that you'll give this video a like if you did enjoy it. Please subscribe if you have not done so already, because if not, we both have to live in the shadows of never knowing what could have been. All right, guys, have a great one. Bye.